Welcome back to the program. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is the campaign edition of Choice 2017, and it's all about politics, because we're literally trailing politicians wherever they take us. And speaking of campaigns, Rita, I can see you clearly there, coming to us all the way from Ruiru. She has been on the campaign trail of the Jubilee. Now, Rita, perhaps what more can you tell us? What's the mood like on the ground?
Well, a very good afternoon to you here in Ruiru town. A bit of confusion there. Residents here are waiting for the arrival of Deputy President William Ruto, but some of them, security officers, trying to quiet them. They are displaying banners of William Kabogo. But since around 1 p.m., the Jubilee team has been campaigning in the area. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto began in Kiambu. Both of them attended a church service, then addressed residents of Kiambu in Kiambu town. But the president had to leave for Nairobi, so Deputy President William Ruto is the one who was left behind. He has addressed a rally in Githunguri, in Dumberi, Ikinu, as well as Tinganga. Right now he is in Kwamaiko. We are ahead of him. We are waiting for him to arrive here in Ruiru. We understand that the president, who rushed to Nairobi to attend a convention for the Akorino at the Nyayo National Stadium, will be coming this way. Both of them are expected to address a rally. What they say is a mega rally in Thika town. So Jubilee campaigning today in Kiambu town, Kiambu County. This is a county with about, actually 12 constituencies, but they will be campaigning in 5 of them already. In 2 of them, they have been in Kiambu, they have been in Githunguri. They will come here to Ruiru before going to Juja, and then to Thika town constituency, which is in Thika. And really, this is one of President Uhuru's major strongholds. About 1.1, just over 1.1 million voters here. Remember also, it is Uhuru Kenyatta's home county. Gatundu is in Kiambu. That is one of the voters here, one of the residents rather, displaying William Kabogo's banner. That is what the police are trying to sort of try and manage here, as those followers of William Kabogo, hoping they will not interrupt this gathering as they wait for Deputy President William Ruto. Earlier on in Kiambu, and as well as in Githunguri, the message that the leaders have been sending there is about peaceful elections.
Yes.
They have been saying and asking
Rita,
residents to ensure and engage in peaceful.
Yeah,
yes.
Rita, I'll come back to you shortly, because we're getting signals that there is a press briefing by the NASA coalition. Of course, I'll get back to you and ask you more about what the upsurge of the independent candidates, how is it going to affect the Jubilee Party. For now, let's just go straight to the press briefing by NASA.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today again, I'm going to talk about UNGA. This is a subject I talked to you about just over 10 days ago. On the 7th of June, we asked President Uhuru Kenyatta to immediately fly to Ethiopia and ask his counterpart to sell maize to Kenyans. We also asked the president to fire the cabinet secretaries and permanent secretaries of agriculture and the CS of devolution and planning for deliberately misleading Kenyans on the famine situation. We call for a commission to inquire into the present food shortage with a view to ascertaining and reporting on the causes, and to make recommendations to prevent recurrence. Nothing has happened since then. The president is on business as usual, looking for votes and wishing the famine away, while mourning just like any other Kenyan. The president is living in denial. Our purpose today is to remind the president that Kenyans still have no hunger, and to express our strong and growing belief that this famine has been manufactured by Jubilee. It is a political purpose and the president is merely shedding crocodile tears. First, last Monday, the media reported that President Uhuru Kenyatta had summoned cabinet secretaries of agriculture and transport to brief him about the hunger shortage in the counties. We were shocked but not surprised. Hunger has been missing in the counties even after the launch of the failed government subsidy scheme. The president was only realizing this 3 months since the famine started. All this time, the president has never cared to demand a daily briefing on the famine. The hunger ravaging the land is definitely a matter on which the National Intelligence Service and county commanders ought to be reporting to the president daily, being a matter of public welfare and a national security issue. Either the president does not read intelligence briefs or the system of government has collapsed. Maybe the president is just not in charge. Alternatively, the president just doesn't care so long as the famine moves towards a wider political goal. Second, Kenyans will recall that in March this year, the government issued a drought alert and appealed to donors to scale up support. The donors did respond. However, to date, the Jubilee administration has stonewalled, remained extremely opaque, and refused to respond to requests by the heads of missions and the development partner group for information on how much the government received out of the appeal and how it has been utilized. Without this information, donor partners and agencies cannot channel more support to our people. The urge to end the famine does not exist in this Jubilee government. Third, as we speak, a consignment of 2,100 metric tons of rice donated by the People's Republic of China is yet to be declared at the port of Mombasa. It would appear Jubilee officials do not want to distort the market with donated rice because spouses of senior officials in the administration are the key importers of rice from Pakistan. This is further confirmation that the government is the author of this famine and that Uhuru and Ruto are shedding crocodile tears. Fourth, large maize millers who control only 40% of the hunger market were allocated 90% of the maize in the strategic reserves. The small-scale local millers and posho mills who command over 60% of the hunger market have been given no allocation at all to date. Yet the president had the courage to ask why there is no hunger in the counties. It is again all crocodile tears. Fifth, the president has made no effort whatsoever to enter into government-to-government negotiations with any country to secure maize for our citizens. All the little maize that have fed our people have been imported by private companies that are also having difficulties with the clearance and payment. Even the little maize that has come from Ethiopia has been brought here by a private Ethiopian businessman. The government has not imported a grain of maize despite the famine. Even that Ethiopian businessman is not being paid and has now stopped bringing in any maize. Yet the government is telling us to metenga 6 billion shillings to deal with the shortage. This famine is clearly manufactured. Sixth, the entire Eastern Africa, including Ethiopia, has now run out of maize. That means that the private businesses will find it even harder to bring in stocks. The best assurance of imported maize would be for the government to do a G to G and issue orders to local importers. No businessman is going to invest billions to imported maize unless they are assured that the same will be bought from them. The Kenya government is doing none of this. It is caught in deeper slumber and paralyzed by corruption, incompetence, and conflicts of interest. The Jubilee administration wants to starve Kenyans into desperation, submission, and surrender. The administration is withholding its services with a view to procuring and supplying food in the final weeks to the elections so that relief food can be used as a tool to buy support and used to be done as used to be done in the KANU days. It's a cruel and heartless way to seek to retain power. But it has come to that for President Uhuru Kenyatta. President Uhuru Kenyatta must be human and come to the aid of Kenyans, whether it will grant him re-election or not. The president must end this famine instead of telling Kenyans every other day that he is going to accept defeat. What he should do is to accept that he has been defeated in fighting this hunger and famine war. Thank you.
Well, that is the press briefing by NASA leader Raila Odinga there from the Okoa Kenya offices, and is there zeroing in on the current food crisis. He has finished his briefing by clearly saying that the president must end the current or the famine. I don't know how practical that is. We're going to engage with our guest on that. But just a recap on some of the key issues that he did raise during that press briefing. He has indicated that the president should fire the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary for misleading people in regards to the food situation in the country. And he's saying, he also raised an accusing finger towards the president, saying that he's busy campaigning and he's still living in denial, and that the president is shedding crocodile tears. And he also raised some issues in regards to Ethiopia, saying that there's some unscrupulous businessmen who are benefiting out of the current situation in the country. Now, Hassan, I'd like to bring you in here. And speaking about Ethiopia, for instance, I'm sure you're somebody who's well conversant with that area. And it's a country that also had its fair share of food problems. So is it not a bit ironical for a country like Kenya to rely on Ethiopia in the first place?
I think here you have to give Ethiopia credit. I mean, since that infamous famine, I mean, there's drought in the Horn of Africa periodically, and this drought is not specific to Kenya. I mean, it's across the whole region, from Somalia all the way to Eritrea, Djibouti, you know, Sudan, and Kenya. So the fact that Ethiopia actually seems to have some reserve is you know, quite an indication that, you know, the government is doing something in terms of food security.
That is the government in Ethiopia.
In Ethiopia is doing something in terms of food security.
Exactly.
Hassan, I mean, and secondly, the fact that there's not clear government-to-government kind of engagement in regard to this particular, even though, you know, Deputy President William Ruto had raised the same issue and said even before NASA had dreamed of, you know, or thought about importing maize from Ethiopia, Jubilee had already done that. But we don't see any kind of coherent and clear engagement with Ethiopia. And this is where, you know, the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister's statement comes in.
Yes.
It's unscrupulous business people dealing
We're taking advantage advantage. Hassan, we're almost out of time, so I'd like to get very brief comments from all of you in regards to this. First, do you support the assertion by the Prime Minister there that the agriculture CS should be fired? And do you think the Jubilee government is taking advantage of the people right now by giving them, some sort of relief and, in return get some political mileage out of it? Very briefly.
One, I don't know why Ethiopia. It seems that Ethiopia learned its lessons after that drought, and they did something as far as food insecurity is concerned in that country. And to get relief, to get food from Ethiopia, who should feed the other? That's something to look into.
Should the CS be fired?
I don't think the CS should not be fired. What needs to happen is the government need to come out and leave the government itself, because it can't feed itself. It can't feed these people.
Very quickly, do you think Jubilee is getting some sort of political mileage out of the current situation by dishing out some relief food to people?
I have no information that they are doing that. But the way they have managed the current famine is unacceptable in a country where there's a fully fledged cabinet secretary for planning. In March 2015, the Treasury released 2.1 billion for strategic food reserve because it was known that there would be drought and that definitely there would be famine. Where this has gone to, nobody can explain. But on the idea of firing the PS, for me, I don't know what punishment he should get, but definitely he wasn't right to have told Kenyans that there's no problem now.
And we have enough food.
We have enough food, and
Prof,
food is at sea.
Prof, you've seen the press briefing. First question, why now? Because most of the things the former Prime Minister has raised is something that
give
is in
regulars
public knowledge.
advisors credit for being very strategic. It was a very good campaign speech. Okay? Very well thought out, and the timing of it, and to the question you were asking the others, whether Jubilee is getting credit, mileage for giving food, I don't think it's getting much. The dynamics are something different. So what we saw there was a very good campaign speech in a different setting from the crowd, therefore looking more intelligent than it should be. But it's a good political power play. And it came out very well. How far it will go is another matter. Now we wait for Manoa Sipisu to come with a good response.
Hassan has already mentioned Jubilee are very good in responding.
So they might respond at the rally.
So somebody should come and respond equally, or even at a higher level.
Yes.
Because right now all we have is Raila's statement, and it was a good statement. Okay? And hard hitting, that's true. So we give credit for that. But that is not the story. So we need to get the whole picture. And as a campaign, as a presidential campaign, I think he did well to come and hit on something that he feels people might accept.
Yes.
Whether they will or not is another matter. But it's a good campaign strategy.
Thank you very much, Professor Mrene, for your input. Many thanks, Kavins Owidi, right, as a political analyst. Thank you very much. And, of course, the candidate for the parliamentary seat in Ugenya, Jare Momogi, and, of course, Hassan Hussein Kochore. I think you prefer Kochore than Hussein. Thank you very much, all of you, for your input. And that wraps up our second edition of the campaign edition of Choice 2013. Of course, it's a brand new show that we did start yesterday, and it's all about politics, politics, and politics. Of course, it is the campaign edition 2017. My name is Yusuf Ibrahim, and of course, this show is going to be aired every Saturday and Sunday. We're going to take you wherever the politicians are going to take us, and after they're done with the campaign rallies, we'll be right in studio to analyze and separate facts from fiction. My name is Yusuf Ibrahim once again, and bye-bye for now and enjoy the rest of your day.